Hello, welcome to all my beautiful, vibrant souls who have their North Node in Pisces. Excuse me. This is for everybody who has their North Node placement in Pisces, or for any cross watchers, right? If there's somebody special in your life who has that placement, you want to know a little bit more about it. So this is going to be, kind of delving into what this placement is, and we're also going to really have messages from your guides about your North Node journey, where you are in this process. So I want to talk a little bit about the North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo axis. I also have a South Node series out if you are interested in doing a deeper dive into your South Node. That's very much very much up for grabs, but I kind of want to talk about it briefly first before we delve in. I want to first and foremost sorry, there's cat fur here. I thought I got it all. I want to kind of first of all offer this with a caveat that this is talking about your North Node in Pisces placement just as it is. But this will play out very differently or be severely impacted for you based on the house that it's in, as well as how it's aspected, but especially big time based on the house that it's in. North Node in Pisces in the first house looks really different than North Node in Pisces in the seventh house, So just keep that in mind. If you are looking to do a deeper dive into your personal North Node placement, I do offer that as an option. Please feel free to check out my shop link. It's not an established reading, but if you DM me for a custom, I am happy to do that reading for you. So, this is going to be a good one. In terms of kind of just your North Node in general, sorry, these are uneven. I'm picking up on your South Node Virgo energy. Okay, I'm gonna stop fussing with it. So your North Node and your South Node, first of all, are always opposite from each other on the wheel of the zodiac. So in your birth chart, they're always going to be opposite. North Node in Pisces automatically means that your South Node is in Virgo. And your South Node energy is thought to be, a past life placement, because your South Node is an energy you've already mastered, right? And this is why your North Node is always opposite, because you're being encouraged to move out of your South Node energy toward your North Node energy, in the hopes of seeking balance and equilibration at a soul level. Because all oppositional signs on the wheel of the zodiac have a common kind of problem they're trying to address or issue to solve. They're on a quest, and they start at opposite ends of the spectrum to solve this issue, and the goal is for them to equilibrate and meet in the middle, right? You're borrowing traits from both sides to create a balanced approach to solving the issue. So both Virgo and Pisces are signs of service. Virgo in a very much grounded kind of practical way, more often than not, and Pisces very much in an emotional and spiritual sense. So this is something they're both seeking to do. As a result, both of these signs can also be prone to being overly self-sacrificial, though, right? There's an element of martyrdom that can kind of go along with both signs in their shadow element. So something that I'm kind of getting first and foremost, having South Node in Virgo, another thing to keep in mind with your South Node placement is because it's the energy you've already mastered, and you're being encouraged to move toward your North Node. This is your South Node energy is kind of like what you default to, because you know it so well, right? And it's really worked for you in past lives. This is what you've mastered, so it's worked for you, and it will work for you in this life as well. But you'll find that at some point through your life journey, you are being encouraged to move more toward your North Node. So there's a point on your South to North Node journey where your South Node energy becomes less and less effective for solving a problem in your life, right? So Virgo, for example, is ruled by Mercury. It's very much known for being perfectionistic, detail-oriented, analytical, very capable of critical thought. Very capable of critical anything. No, I'm just kidding. I love my Virgos. So, you know, very capable of critical thought, very service-oriented in an incredibly grounded, practical way. I always call like Virgos the stage managers of the zodiac, and if you've ever been in theater, you absolutely understand what I mean by that. Like, your stage manager kind of keeps an eye on everything, runs everything. So Virgo kind of has that energy a little bit where they are the problem solvers, the natural problem solvers, and this is what they do in an attempt to help other people. I will say one of the shadowy kind of elements of Virgo, though, can be, like I said, being you know, overly perfectionistic, can be being a little bit critical, and this is with other people, but this is also because it's a reflection of their internal experience. So, you know, we judge others as much as we judge ourselves, right? If not, you know, we can be prone to even judge ourselves more. We only meet others as far as we've met ourselves. Excuse me. So sometimes this placement can kind of talk about being prone to be overly, like I said, critical or perfectionistic, or being really like just being hard on others because they are hard on themselves. This also too, to me, like both Gemini and Virgo, which are both ruled by Mercury, for me, have a little bit of this kind of energy where your mind is your greatest asset as well as your most like crippling deficit. It's where your mind is both your prison and your playground. And I can definitely kind of see that for South Node in Virgo. So this would be where you know, South Node in Virgo is an energy where you are smart, practical, grounded, down to earth. You know how to solve most of the problems that come your way. You know how to solve most of the other people's problems that come your way. And this is an incredible gift. And this is also something that people, excuse me, appreciate you for, but may even become reliant on you for. And I feel like, you know, this is a placement where, like I said, it's your default. So a lot of you have a lot of experiences throughout your lifetime of being of service to other people and having to figure out what that means to have that in a healthy capacity. And a lot of the service that you offer to other people is very much kind of like earth and air energy to me, right? Where it's very practical, it's very grounded. It's, you know, it's really like clear cut. South Node in Virgo is also usually very good at explaining how to solve problems. So there's like a slight like teaching element there. You know, I also think that because it's ruled by Mercury, Virgos are really good at communicating plans and actionable steps to people. So like this is where, you know, you can see a clear-cut plan for how to help, let's say like a friend, solve an issue. And, you know, you give them clear-cut actionable steps, and you know, sometimes they accept that, sometimes they don't, and I feel like that could be a point of frustration. So what this placement to me kind of talks about in terms of the South Node is this can be something where, for, you know, for the good and the bad, where these are your skill sets, this is what you're known for, but I think the drawback can be that that's kind of what you become, like that's what you become known for. So you might find that there is this dualistic relationship with it where you do want to be of service to people, but it feels like that's all people really know about you, or that's all they want from you. And I think this is a placement where, excuse me, my allergies, I'm sorry you guys. This is a placement where a part of this life journey is going to be kind of this back and forth between, I want to help people, I want to be of service, you know, I want to be, not like I want to be needed, but it's kind of similar to that. Like I want to be, like you feel good, you feel secure when you are helping other people, when you are, you know, when you are, serving other people in that way. But at the same time, it can also become exhausting, draining, especially if you are prone to some of those sort of stereotypical Virgo blind spots of maybe like overgiving, like I said, being overly self-sacrificial, putting other people's needs ahead of your own. All of these can be kind of South Node Virgo traits. Now, being encouraged to move toward Pisces North Node. Pisces, like I said, can also be known for being overly self-sacrificial, and this is in an emotional and spiritually energetic way. This is the natural empath. This is somebody who starts to kind of meld with another and without really realizing it, right? And as a result, can give up too much of their emotional energy and investment to people, places, situations that are really not their responsibility and don't necessarily honor them. So having North Node in Pisces, you still have that kind of aspect to watch out for, is to be conscientious with your time and energy. And both of these signs, I feel like, have a tendency to, it's because, you know what it is to me, in my opinion, personally, both of these signs have a tendency to not realize where their energy is getting drained, because it's the area that they are naturally powerhouses, right? So for South Node Virgo, this is like your powerhouse placement, or your powerhouse in this placement is your mental agility, your mental capability. Like, that's what you can, it's like you do it so naturally and so abundantly that I feel like when you do, like, this is again, you're solving everybody else's problems. You are the mediator and communicator. And I know that's a little bit more of a Libra energy, but I also apply that to Virgo sometimes as well. You're making a master plan. You're helping people reach their goals step by step. You're showing up and you're anticipating other people's needs and showing up to help, help meet those needs, things like that. It's just what you naturally do, again, so proficiently and abundantly that I feel like South Node in Virgo is not prone to realizing when they start to utilize too much of their mental energy toward others and not enough toward self, right? Not enough toward nurturing themselves, toward checking in with themselves. Pisces tends to do this emotionally, where they're really like, they're, hyper attuned, they're melding with another person because they are naturally quite empathetic and they feel very, very deeply, that it's like they produce that emotional energy so abundantly that they don't realize when they're giving it away, when it's getting leached from them to the point where it is destabilizing for them. So this is something that this axis kind of has in common, but that expresses itself oppositionally. Now, the reason why this is important, I'm like, I have a point, I promise. The reason why this is important is because South Node in Virgo, North Node Pisces means you are being encouraged throughout this North Node journey to be less in your head and more in touch with your emotions. This might be something that you struggle to do, particularly when it comes to compassion for self. That was a huge theme when I was shuffling the cards. And I haven't seen what you have yet, but the way I read is that as I'm shuffling cards, if cards like pop out or fly out of the deck, or I cut the deck and I feel called to look in the center, that's like additional information for me. And there were a lot of cards about this need for compassion, and this can be for others as well, because Virgo is not known for being the most forgiving sign, but I was really picking up on this as compassion for self. Once again, we only judge others as much as we judge ourselves. We can only meet others as deeply as we've met ourselves. And there's something here where excuse me, this sort of North Node in Pisces energy is all about getting in touch emotionally. This also can be a placement where you're really good at solving people's problems, but just like sitting with that person and letting them vent their emotions and really holding space for that, sitting and feeling into that with them and like experiencing that with them. That might be very hard for you. And this can also apply, vice versa, where it's very, very hard for you when other people try to sit with you and hold space for your emotions. So South Node Virgo can look like, I'm always helping other people, but nobody's ever helping me. I always do this, and this for others. I feel like I never get that back. It feels like there's an imbalance of give and take. There's a lack of reciprocity. But this is also exacerbated by the fact that it might be hard for you to let people help you. It might be hard to kind of take your hands off the wheel and let other people solve things. It might be hard for you to, when other people acknowledge your emotional pain, that might be something that you're used to kind of keeping to yourself. So it's, I'm not saying that you haven't had adequate support, or that you haven't not had it, right? So if that's like the complaint is, nobody ever shows up for me, I'm not saying that's incorrect, but this placement can also miss when that support is making itself readily available. They can kind of miss that entirely because they're so used to being that caretaker, savior, problem solver role for other people, that they don't know how to receive that themselves. So that could be a block in receiving that you might have. So North Node in Pisces is really about being able to get in touch with those deeper emotions, both for self and others, and use that to help kind of diversify or well-round your sense of service to others and also to self. Now, the last major difference I want to talk about before we get into your cards with this placement is that, the Virgo naturally rules the 6th house. And this is usually, I'm just pointing over here because in the zodiac wheel is counterclockwise and the 6th house is over here. Virgo naturally rules the 6th house, and this is a mind, body, spirit connection related house. This is why it has to do with wellness, health, routines, daily practices. It's about how you balance these parts of your life healthily, right? Excuse me. And so this is a lot about, kind of keeping track of how keeping your life grounded and keeping track of how you're doing in all areas of life, right? Kind of like keeping an eye on the situation and making sure, more often than not, that all parts of your life are balanced, they feel healthy, they feel grounded, you're pleased with how things are going. It's serving you and serving others equally. Pisces naturally rules the 12th house, which can talk about a lot of things, but can talk a lot about, about like illusions. So it's a house that deals with illusions. It's a house that deals with addictions as well. And I think it low-key honestly deals with sublimation of power, both internally and externally. But one of the things that the Pisces 12th house kind of energy is known for is things being unclear. And I think that might be a bugaboo for those of you who have this placement, is that with, South Node Virgo, this is somebody who likes to be meticulous and detail oriented, who likes to know, who likes to have a plan, who likes to that like to kind of have the straight scoop on the situation. And I think one of the things that this placement can be encouraging you to do as you move toward Pisces energy is allow things to unfold without always knowing what happens next, without always knowing like concretely what something is, what it means. Excuse me. And this can be difficult because there's an element of control that you're being asked to kind of put on the back burner, and that can be very challenging for Virgo energy sometimes. So that can kind of be another way that this plays out for you guys. So I think that's everything I kind of wanted to go over to get us started with this placement. So I have oracle cards already laid out. I have this card from the Blood and Honey Major Arcana deck, and this is going to serve as the energetic archetype that your guides are encouraging you to try to embrace or embody at this point on your North Node journey to help move you closer to that North Node Pisces energy. I have these two cards to kind of talk about what areas of life or situations this might be specifically referencing along your journey. It will be different for all of you. And then I have this oracle card to kind of be like an extra spirit message, and we will then pull tarot to get further details. So excuse me. Let's see what you guys got. Oh, perfect. You have the Fool. I love this. Okay. I look at the Fool like Aries energy, but some people look at it like Aquarius. So you might have significant Aries or Aquarius placements. But this is really nice. This is kind of exactly what we were just talking about in the sense of relinquishing control. So the Fool is the first card in the Major Arcana, and this is like a brand new soul cycle, right? It's card 0. So it's like you're starting fresh, like tabula rasa, blank slate. And so at this time, toward your North Node journey, this is really like, it's interesting because there's another North Node reading where this was the archetype card, but I'm getting like a different message for it in this situation. This is where you're really being asked to kind of, I don't want to say completely relinquish control, but you're being asked to be fluid in your approach, right? I'm looking at the energy flowing like very fluidly between this person's hands. And once again, Virgo is an energy that is kind of, a little bit witchy, a little bit magical. They can make magic happen, right? That's that Mercury energy. Like you can weave magic with your ideas, with your words, with your thoughts. You guys are likely very skilled manifestors, but it's like you have a very specific mental and or communicative style. And it's not bad, but there needs to be more. It needs to be balanced out with other traits. Other traits need to be, and like approaches need to be integrated in order to have like I said, a better balance. Because I feel like you guys have your own brand of this kind of Virgo energy, and it serves you in your life, but it's almost getting to like a tipping point where it's kind of, it's going to start to become more and more of a problem, if that makes sense. So for example, if you're really, really good at, creative problem solving for work, this is like the way you solve problems absolutely works. But there's something about the way you approach it that is going to lead to burnout, or like your ideas becoming less and less effective. It's what we were talking about earlier with the South Node, where at some point, leaning too heavily on your South Node energy, you will see it start to deplete in efficacy. And this is usually the universe's way of sort of naturally transitioning you out of that South Node energy and toward your North Node, where you're being asked to really expand. And you start noticing that that South Node serves you less and less and less effectively over time. Excuse me. So with this being the archetype, you're being asked to kind of be open to new things that come your way, and to try to do so, the Fool is very optimistic, so to try to do so with a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, as well as with that compassion energy, having a lot of compassion for self as you're learning new skills, and especially with like the open hands, like as you're letting go of maybe some old approaches or some old styles that you've had towards solving a problem. Some of you are being asked to go in a completely new direction in some area of life. And this is something I feel you do want, but there is almost like a little bit of, because this is not quite defensive body language, but it's not too far off. There's a little bit of like a guardedness. And so your team is kind of asking you, like, we know that it's hard to sometimes let your guard down, but we're going to ask you to try, right? With that North Node and Pisces energy, it's like accepting the journey, even when you don't know, you can't read the map, right? Or you can only see, a few steps in front of you, and it's asking you to keep trusting that everything is unfolding as it needs to. And everything is unfolding in divine order, even if you're not privy to what that plan is. Excuse me, sorry guys. So let's take a look at your oracle cards and get a better feel for what this is about. Oh yeah, rebirth, 16. So that reduces to a 7. Woo! And Moonstone, Crown Chakra, card 1, and Transcendence. Yeah, this is what I mean. You guys are going through a major rebirth. Oh, there's a little cat fur, sorry. Card 16 makes me think of the Tower card in the tarot. And so there's an element here where what's no longer serving you is being deconstructed, right? The foundations are cracking. It's time to take it down before it comes crashing down. And I feel like you're in that warning stage right now where you're seeing, like I said, like, excuse me, you're seeing this South Node energy be less and less and less effective for you. And this can look like, you go try the old approaches that you would use and it's not working anymore. This can be where, those areas where you would use these Virgo qualities to thrive, maybe those areas of your life are kind of shutting down. So for example, if you're using those Virgo qualities to be a manager, this is looking like, this would be a scenario where you lose your job and now you're kind of reevaluating, right? This could be where you start to experience greater burnout and like emotional and energetic burnout from utilizing this South Node energy. So you're whether internally prompted or externally kind of initiated, you guys are in this phase, I feel like, where your South Node energy is becoming less and less effective. And this is preparing you to move toward your North Node, very likely attached to some major spiritual awakening and rebirth. Because with Transcendence in the Crown Chakra, you are, first of all, Moonstone, your intuition is heightening. Your crown is opening much more, so you're much more open to receiving downloads. This is why, because even look, they've got the little like circle over the crown area. So this is why your team is asking you to try to be open to new strategies, new ideas, trying new things, or trying old things in a new way. Because you're very much led, and like I said, you're being led by your intuition, that Pisces energy, meaning it might not always make sense. It might not feel familiar. It might feel very uncomfortable, especially if you're used to being, you know, I was gonna say the man with the plan, but the person with the plan here. You might be, you know, in a position where you're not behind the wheel, or you're having to relinquish some control. And that might be a little bit anxiety inducing. And it may also just be where it's like, I want to do that, but I don't know how. And your team is recognizing that this is a new venture for you. This is a new way of living for you. So it's okay, because you have rebirth, and that's a really big energy. Excuse me. And then the Fool being the first card of the Major Arcana, this is a whole new experience for you. So if it feels really big, you might kind of be looking at it and be like, I don't know why I'm struggling so hard with this thing. It's really not that big of a deal. It's because it's setting the tone for this new chapter for you, this new part of your journey. And that's okay to, you know, not always know what you're doing. That's okay if you have moments of struggle, because you're learning entirely new skills. So they kind of want to come in and acknowledge that, because I feel like this group, again, might struggle with self-compassion. You might be very hard on yourself, where you're like, why haven't I figured this out? Especially anything mental. You know, you might spend a lot of mental energy thinking about how to solve a problem or how to move forward. And you're like, why can't I figure this out? Why aren't any of my strategies working? It's because you're being taught right now and prepared to learn and access and nurture all new skill sets. So that's interesting. And I also want to say too, excuse me, these skill sets might also have a facet where they are revolving around letting other people help you a little bit more, letting other people connect to you more emotionally as well. And oftentimes before we can do that, we go through periods of emotional purge. So I feel like you guys right now are in the deconstruction phase before you start kind of building this new foundation for yourself. And your team wants you to try to be as open to this process as you possibly can, which is much easier said than done, but that's what they're asking for. So let's see what the message is. Oh, okay, ground yourself. Being distracted, unfocused, tired, irritated, and impatient are all signs you're ungrounded. Now is the time to become more centered and allow Spirit to help you ground yourself and reconnect with Divine Source. Absolutely. So this is pretty, excuse me, pretty clear in and of itself. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you guys. Pretty clear in and of itself. Doing grounding meditations might really be helpful. Spending time in nature if you can. Working with Moonstone may also really help you connect to your intuition. But right now, your spiritual team is really trying to help you, right? It's saying allow Spirit to help you ground yourself and reconnect with Divine Source. Because I feel like a lot of you are worrying about this next chapter, worrying about what to do next, what steps to take next, and your team is kind of just letting you know, like, we're going to give you the information as you need it, right? Just like, excuse me, to trust that, and also to kind of be prepared for the fact that they're going to be speaking to you through your intuition. And this might be, heeding that might be new for you, in the sense that, you might be used to like creating a plan for yourself. I'm hearing a 5-year plan, a plan for yourself based off of what is, observable, tangible, what you have in front of you, very practical, right? Very grounded. But you're being asked to follow your intuition at this time, because a plan has been made for you. A divine plan has been made for you. So the plan exists, so worry not. But it's just about taking it one step at a time and being okay with letting the divine speak to you through that process, right? Letting the divine make the plan and give you the steps of the plan incrementally, and following those intuitive promptings, right? Because Pisces is very much about this energy. It's very creative, very dreamy, very high vibrational, very spiritual. Excuse me. And And so you're being encouraged to try to kind of tap into those parts of yourself. And it's not saying you don't have that, but there might be kind of one particular area, one stronghold where you like to kind of be the one that's, you know, planning, and that's getting all their ducks in a row. And you're being asked right now to kind of let spirit be the Virgo for you. You Virgo'd hard enough, sweetheart. Like, yeah. And so you're being asked by spirit to, to be able to kind of allow things to unfold piece by piece and allow things to not make sense for a little bit until they do. So I want to pull some, cards about this. So let's see what we have. We have the Eight of Pentacles. Nice. Love this. The Queen of Cups reversed. Yep. And the Six of Wands. And then, okay, the Emperor. So we have Aries energy here, which is funny because we were talking about that. And then Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy with the Queen of Cups. Yeah, so this is kind of what I feel you've been in. I feel like this is something where you're a very, very hard worker. This also could have to do with work very heavily, especially if you work in the public eye, or you would like to be transitioning to a field where you work in the public eye. But there's something where with the Emperor here, I feel like you guys have a vision, you have a plan, you are, you see something that you want and you go for it. You're not afraid. Excuse me. You're not afraid to take action, take charge. You're a very stable person, especially very stable and getting in your desires. Like, you see something you want and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, then this, then this, then this. You're not afraid to put in the effort, the work, the grind, and you are very good at what you're very good at. Like I said, you have the skill sets you have cultivated, the skill sets you naturally possess that you utilize as a tool in your life. You use it well. You know what you're doing. But it is, what I'm almost getting with the Six of Wands is that you have this idea of what success looks like. You have this idea of what getting what you want looks like. And there's something where there's this tireless, because even this person's looking at the Six of Wands, and like this person's looking at the Emperor, right? There's this like tireless pursuit of your dreams and your goals. But again, it's like you have this one approach to doing it, or this very specific approach. And the way it's been done is burning you out emotionally. This is also somebody who upright listens to their intuition and follows it, to the T. And reverse, this is somebody who struggles to do that. Because there's something that, I want to know what your intuition's trying to tell you that like you might be kind of either missing or struggling to implement. Okay, the Ace of Wands. Yeah. All right, I think I know where this is going, but is this? Okay, this is just one card. The Nine of Pentacles. Okay. And the Nine of Wands reversed. Okay. We have the Five of Pentacles reversed at the bottom. So what I feel like your intuition's been trying to tell you is, like I said, you're climbing the ladder because you're not afraid of putting in that work and that effort. But what I feel like your intuition's trying to warn you about with this Nine of Wands reversed and this Nine of Pentacles, first of all, this is like the Nine of Pentacles is usually very like independent, very abundant. I was going to say luxurious, but very abundant, right? Because it always follows the Eight of Pentacles. So you're doing the hard work. You're reaching your goals with the Nine of Pentacles, right? And you can take care of yourself. What I feel like this is talking about for you is, first and foremost, all the nines usually are things that we do very independently in the tarot. Apparently I'm throwing them all around the place now. And so you are very independent and grounded within yourself, but there is a level to which, again, with the Nine of Wands reversed, this is like somebody has been through the ringer, but they're ready for one more round. They have the energy to fight one more fight. And this is kind of somebody's tired. They're burnt out. They're throwing in the towel. There's an element to which doing everything alone, not asking for help, as well as not checking in with your intuition, your emotions. Yes, it has gotten you a lot of success in some ways, and you have become very independent. You may have always been this way, or this has just become like heightened for you over this life journey. So it has worked. But this is the big warning sign here with the Nine of Wands. You're starting to get burnt out. And what I feel like your intuition is trying to tell you with this Ace of Wands is that you have to be, there's a new beginning on the horizon, but there's also, this is asking you to pick a new path. And this is asking you to pick a path that nurtures your passions, nurtures your creativity, that you feel spiritually called to, right? Because there's something about what you've been doing or the way you've been approaching it where, like I said, it's leading to burnout and there's like a lack of passion. I want to know what this is about though, because I'm spiritually nosy. Is this one, did I pick? Here we go, top one. Yeah, okay, Knight of Pentacles. All right, I'll look at this one. Two of Cups, okay. And then the Fool reversed. There it is. Yeah, and then in the middle of the deck was the Moon. And at the bottom is the Wheel of Fortune. I feel like things are shifting and changing. You're about to enter a new cycle, and your team's trying to help prepare you for this. But again, with the Wheel of Fortune, this is like the universe is, you know, this is fate, this is destiny. The universe is taking the wheel, and you have to like take your hands off. So what I feel like this is talking about is that, excuse me, we have, you know, Knight of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Cap. Again, patience, not afraid to put in the effort, the work, taking your time. But this is a slow moving energy. And while it's a solid offer, it's not the fastest. And so like what I feel like is, this is somebody who's very loyal and dedicated. What I feel like this is talking about is that you do have this new beginning on the horizon that you're being asked to prepared for, being asked to get prepared for. There we go. I just glitched out a little bit, sorry. But you're also being asked to kind of think about the long haul with this Knight of Pentacles, because again, there's a lack of maybe passion, there's a lack of emotional reciprocity, of balance. You know, you're out of touch with spirit, you're ungrounded in your emotions and or your spiritual energy, and it's causing burnout, right? And there's something where this, like I said, could be climbing like the career ladder, whatever area of life this is in. It's lacking passion, it's lacking excitement, and this might just be where you need time as well. Excuse me. We saw that Two of Cups pop out, and again, this is all about letting, you know, these are soul partnerships, letting people help you. This could be in terms of relationships as well, where you're used to doing a lot of the work. And you're being asked to, like, Spirit has heard your requests. Spirit sees that you're tired, that you're teetering on the edge of burnout, and this is likely why you've been brought to this reading at this time, is to kind of say, okay, where in your life can you let other people help you? Where in your life are you feeling a lack of excitement, passion, drive? Because I feel like you guys are used to buckling down, nose to the grindstone. Doesn't matter if I'm happy or not, doesn't matter if I want to do it or not, I'm going to do it, because you're always looking down the road at the long haul. And that's a beautiful trait to have, but I feel like you guys are almost maybe a little bit too comfortable in it. And you're kind of looking at like, I have to have everything laid out, and like I can see my plan from a mile away, and it's going to end here, so I'm going to put up with a life that I can't stand for the next 4 years, so that way in 5 years I'm happy. And like, you know, we all have things in life where we have to make choices and decide if that's worth it or not, but there's something for this group where I feel like that's kind of your comfort zone, is being in the grind, doing the hard work. And there's something where it's like tapping into your intuitions, tapping into like connecting with spirit, you know, letting the divine lead you, guide you, and protect you along the path is going to yield better results than you might imagine. So actionable steps that this group can take is, you know, spending more time in meditation, maybe expanding your spiritual practice, having more time to find things that you're passionate about, find things that with these two nines make you happy for yourself, right? That are very stabilizing for you, and they don't have to be for other people. Again, it's showing yourself compassion, allowing yourself to integrate more happiness in life, right? Integrate more excitement, and to be excited for what the universe is bringing you, because there are changes that need to be made, and the universe is kind of trying to step in and help you now before things kind of hit a wall. So I kind of want to know what advice your spiritual team has for you at this time. I want to flip this. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. My allergies, my asthma are awful. Yeah, we have the Three of Wands reversed at the bottom. This is something where I kind of feel like they're like, you can't wait forever, right? Things are never going to be perfect. Things are, don't defer your happiness or delay your happiness indefinitely for perfection that will never come, right? Is kind of the energy that's coming through. So your advice, Three of Swords reversed, okay. Wow, the Knight of Cups reversed. And Justice. Okay, Libra here, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces here. I feel like something that's also a key part of this, there's some healing that needs to be done when it comes to going after something that you want or allowing yourself to be accepting something that you want. Look how this person's offering their cup to the Three of Swords. There are people, this is kind of like let people help you, because I feel like you've been burned by people in the past. Maybe you really relied on people and they've just let you down. Maybe, you had something that you really wanted for yourself when you were younger, and you were kind of always discouraged from that, like, oh, don't waste your time with that. Why would you do this? Like, why would you be with this person? Why would you, be in this career field? And it's something where I feel like it cuts you deeper than you might be aware of. So another good purpose of grounding yourself and getting more in touch with that kind of Piscean energy, getting in touch with your emotions, is empathizing with yourself first and foremost, and then also allowing other people to empathize with you. There's something here where I feel like you guys, it's not like you guys have shut off your empathy by any stretch of the imagination, but you've compartmentalized it. That's a good term. You've compartmentalized your ability to empathize, because like part of why we do that sometimes is when we're hurt really, really badly, it's hard for us to connect and always empathize with others in any given moment. When we are struggling to connect to our own emotions, right? So when we cut ourselves off from our own emotions, we run the risk that we struggle to connect emotionally with other people when they need us to as well, right? And this is why, like, I feel like this group, you do genuinely want to help, but the way that you help is usually in a very pragmatic way. And there's an element to which, it's because you're like struggling to fully process your own pain and hold space for your own pain or any kind of past wounds that need to be healed. And this might be now impacting not only your own internal world and how life, you show up to life and how life feels for you, but it also might start to impact your interpersonal relationships. So this is really a call to ground yourself and allow yourself to process these emotions so they can be released, because there is this new chapter here, and this is all about letting go of past baggage. Karmic debts have been paid and the scales are about to balance in your favor. Things are all balanced out and things are only going to improve from here. And I feel like this group, you might be very emotionally guarded, and especially guarded toward letting other people connect with you and help you and support you in your journey. And so you're being kind of asked at this time to really pay attention to and give adequate time and energy to the healing process, because that's going to help you the most moving forward. That's also going to create greater balance, unanimity, and harmony in your life moving forward. So I think this is just about everything I have for you guys today. It has been such an honor, a joy, and a delight to get to read for you. I hope this has been helpful. I am excited to read for you in future. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, love bugs. Bye.